Here, since remember I told you that the way I choose if I'm going to use substitution or um, or addition is if there's a letter by itself with no number next to it, I use substitution. But when that's not the case, I use addition. And here, all the letters have, all the variables have numbers next to them. So I'm going to use the addition property. For me to use the addition property, I've got to have one of these either 5 and 2 or 2, either the I'm sorry, let me say it this way. Either the coefficient of x or the coefficient of y have to be the same number, and the signs have to be opposite. Remember, I explained that to you in class. The numbers have to be the same, or the coefficients of x have to be the same, and the signs have to be opposite. I could either have the numbers of x be the same or the coefficients of y be the same. I decide, and the signs have to be opposite. I don't know what we did in class, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to make the 5 and the 2, I'm going to turn them into the same number. Well, I think, okay, well, what's the lowest number that 2 and 5 are factors of? Well, the lowest number that 2 and 5 are factors of is 10. So I'm going to turn the 5 and the 2 into 10. I'm going to turn the 5 into 10 by multiplying it by 2, and I'm going to turn the 2 into 10 by multiplying it by 5. Remember, I also told you that the signs had to be different. So I'm going to make, it doesn't matter which one I make negative, I'm going to make the 5 negative. We could have chosen the 2. It really doesn't make a difference. Now, remember, in the top problem, we had a number in front of the parentheses. So whenever you have anything in front of the parentheses, you multiply that number or sign, whatever it happens to be, times everything inside the parentheses. So I'm going to do 2 times 5, 2 times 2, and 2 times 36. 2 times 5 is 10x. 2 times 2 is 4y. 2 times 36 is 72. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10x. Negative 5 times 3 is negative 15y. And negative times 43 equals 215. Now that I've got the numbers or the coefficient of x are the same but with opposite signs, now I can use the addition method. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to combine this equation. 10x minus 10x is 0, so those just cancel out. Negative 15y and a positive 4, since the signs are different, that means I'm going to subtract. So that's going to give me 11. And since the bigger number is negative, it's going to be a negative 11y. And now I'm going to add the 215 and the 72. Actually, I'm not going to add them. I'm going to subtract them because I made a mistake. It's negative 5 times 43, so the answer has to be a negative 215. And I'm going to subtract the negative 215 with the 72. The answer is going to be a negative 143. Because negative 215 plus 72, I subtract them. My answer is 143, and since my bigger number is negative, my answer is negative. Now, let me show you a little trick. Whenever you have a negative on both sides of the equal sign, you just can turn that into a positive. And now I'm going to divide by 11. Divide both sides by 11. And that should give us our answer. 143 divided by 11 is, I believe, 13. Yes, 13. So y equals 13. Okay, we solve for y equals 13. Now that I know what y is, I can go back and plug y into any of these equations and figure out what x is. Since the 36 is smaller than the 43 and I like to work with smaller numbers, I'm going to plug y back into the top equation. to solve for x. So 5x plus 2 times 13 equals 36. 5x plus 26 equals 36, because 2 times 13 is 26. Now I'm going to subtract 26 from both sides. That cancels out. 36 minus 26 is 10. So 5x equals 10. And now I'm going to get rid of the 5x by doing the opposite operation of multiplication, which is division. So I'm going to divide both sides by 5. X equals 2. So my answer is x equals 2 and y equals 13. Here, it's not too hard to decide whether I'm going to use substitution or addition. I'm going to obviously use substitution because we have the x, there's no number next to x, and there's no number next to y. When that's the case, I can decide whether I want to substitute the y or the x. I usually like to do the x, so I'm gonna rewrite this equation. I'm gonna take away y from both sides, and what I'm gonna get is x equals 8 minus y, because negative y, positive y cancels out, and what I do to one side I do to the other. So I've got x equals 8 minus y. Then what I'm going to do is plug that into this equation. Substitute x for 8 minus y. Right? So wherever I see x, instead of writing x, I'm going to write 8 minus y. So 7 parentheses 8 minus y plus 4y equals 23. 7 times 8, you already know whenever you have something in front of the parentheses, you multiply that something, whether it's a variable, a number, or a sign, times everything inside the parentheses. So 7 times 8 is 56. 7 times negative y is a negative 7y plus 4y equals 23. Now I'm going to combine the 7y and the 4y. 56 minus, and I'm going to subtract because the signs are different. So 7 minus 4 is 3y. And now I'm going to move equals 23. Whoops. Now I'm going to get rid of this 56 because remember, I want to isolate y. I want to get y by itself. So I'm going to subtract 56. That equals a negative 33. So negative 3y equals a negative 33. Negative 3, divide both sides by negative 3. And y equals 11. Because negative 33 divided by negative 3 equals a positive 11. So now I know what y is. Y equals 11. Now to figure out what x is, all I've got to do is plug this 11 into this equation. So 8 minus 11 is 3, and it's going to be a negative 3. X equals 8 minus 11. X, I'm going to subtract these because the signs are different, and since the bigger number has the negative sign, the answer is going to be negative. 8 minus 11 equals a negative 3. So x equals negative 3, and y equals 11. Okay?